What's up, everybody? This is another episode of the Cryptocurrents. Before going through the other articles of news, in general, the big piece of news today is the price of Bitcoin continuing to fall, and as a result, other coins have fallen too. But Bitcoin has fallen pretty heavily, all the way down under the 8,300 range, which I did not think it would go too far past yesterday when I was talking about it, but it's officially gone under that, as you can see here. It was under there earlier as well. It's been kind of sitting around 82, like a high 82. So in terms of not official financial advice, but what I did is I did buy it at a little bit over 83, at about 83.19, and it looks like you could have a chance at getting that again because it's continuing to fall. And if you look a little more long term, not long term as in months, but let's just even go to 5 minutes, it hasn't had a big spike. All the spikes have been hit by either a leveling out field or a fall. I'm sorry. All the plateaus, all the spikes get hit by a short plateau. Like I mentioned last time that there was going to be a big change, I just thought it would dip less so and then go up, but it dipped pretty heavily. And right now, it's stabilizing somewhat at the high 82, right around 83. So if you can buy it under, that's a pretty safe bet. But at the same time, what the trends that were predicting that it would go down a little more like it did today show that over the next day or two, possibly over the week, that we could be going all the way down to almost 6K range to some of the lower estimates, with a lot of them having it around 7. So if you wanted to hold off on buying, there's plenty of traditional statistical analysis to support the theory behind waiting longer if you want to. Alright, so next bit. I haven't checked out anything before. I just really wanted to still try to post. Let me see. Oops. Introducing crypto. Oh wow. Are they really going to start accepting it? Let's take a look. San Diego company brokering the sale of 2 multi-million-dollar homes recently announced that it would accept Bitcoin as payment in addition to cash. Oof. Talk about dealing with some unique people. It's no secret that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have gained immense popularity over the past year, and businesses are taking note. A peer-to-peer exchange system that essentially eliminates the need for banks has seen a huge uptake with businesses. Basically, more businesses are adopting it the more that it's been in the news and the more that it's been proven to actually be used as a currency. According to the LA Times, 2 San Diego homes currently being sold for Bitcoin are listed for sale at the price of $19.8 million in either Bitcoin or cash. So definitely not the traditional system of going through a bank, of either having them financing it or just brokering it between the two accounts, or finding other parties to help you find the money. That's just as peer-to-peer essentially as it could get. Andrew Cantor is the chief executive of the real estate brokerage and investment firm Cantor Co's. Cantor Co? Whatever. He is selling both his home and his friends, and Cantor is using any marketing techniques he can to tap into potential markets. So, I mean, of course somebody's going to buy the 2 houses. Jesus Christ, Charlie Lee might just buy the 2 houses, even though he doesn't hold Litecoin. I'm sure he holds some Bitcoin. Cantor also reasoned that although there may be a financial benefit, it is largely based on the preference of the seller, because the cryptocurrency's price can fall as quickly as it rises. Basically saying they're not doing it to take advantage of the fact they think Bitcoin will rise in value. They really are just accepting it as a means of currency. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are making transactions more easy and efficient, but the coin's unpredictable value will truly determine whether Cantor turns a profit. One issue facing buyers and sellers is that many banks refuse to handle escrow or housing loan applications that deal with cryptocurrency, as they often have no experience in doing so, like I mentioned before. However, people are becoming more accustomed to using cryptocurrency as time passes, and people who have listed real estate for virtual currency have often received positive attention. chances are that the use of cryptocurrency in real estate will become more common. I think so too, if they could, because what businesses have been doing when you use like Coinbase Commerce is it treats it as basically cash. When you go to file it is the easiest way to do it. So if you just treated it like a cash transaction and people hold enough Bitcoin, like not a lot of people will just like drive a truck with your 18.9 million in cash. But if they just, you know, bring a few treasures and you guys just exchange it peer to peer, then, you know, make sure it's like a one-time use treasure. You could, I guess you could even treasure, or you could even use like a paper wallet just to, because on the blockchain, a transaction that big will get attention. So you don't want those wallets to have any connection. So I mean, I doubt the people buying this house are listening to my take on that. But if they do buy the house, that transaction is going to pop up on the blockchain, and people are going to want to track those wallets. Alright. No, nothing's come up since the Wyoming thing. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, Square Cash added BTC in the buy-sell option for Wyoming customers, and they're working on New York. I talked about that a little bit yesterday, but that Cash app has a lot of transactions on it, and now that Square is going to have like compatible readers and things like that, like although they won't really need the reader because it'll have the QR code, but you'll basically be able to have a Square attachment for all these businesses. Like if you've been to businesses lately that are either owned by young people or have a lot of younger people influencing them, then they do a lot of the business through like an iPad and an attachment, whether it be PayPal or Square. So now you have this Square Cash app, which I've been, like, I technically have it, but I haven't really used it much. But it is clean looking, it is simple, it is kind of like bubbly looking in a way. Not bubbly like literal bubbles, but like happy looking. So all of those are beneficial in terms of getting like more people to go on board with it. And they had it become legal in Wyoming, and now they're applying for the BIT license in New York. Customers in the states of Wyoming, New York, Georgia, and Hawaii were originally excluded from the Cash App's cryptocurrency option due to the state's more stringent crypto regulations. I'm pretty sure they'll get their BIT license, because if Square's been audited, then whatever cryptocurrency connections they have, like, I don't think they're going to audit the entire Bitcoin blockchain or anything like that. So yeah, it's highly likely they get added on into New York. And talked about the Binance one. What should be in an ICO white paper? Expert take. I was actually working on an article for this, so let's see what this has. And I think I did that browsing session where I spent like an hour looking at random coins at the top just to try to get a glimpse into what's going on. Well, let's see. Promoter's location. At least one credible academic study notes that in roughly 32% of ICOs, it's not possible to identify the entity or the promoter's origin. So basically, if you ever needed to get some sort of liability from them, you can't, because they don't even know where they are or who they are. The problem in the proposed technology solution, basically saying that if the coin is saying that it's going to help make zebras more happy about their life in zoos via the blockchain, then it's not really serving a purpose or any major function. Or if it's saying it's going to cure cancer by going on the blockchain, like, that's not true. However, if it's saying, like a lot of these medical record companies are saying, that you basically have a claim service to verify that people have the money that they say they have. So if you put all the transactions on a blockchain, then that will help. That will lower the need for all of these like claims middlemen or women in a way. So those are solutions that it can actually solve. Also, coins that they're basically saying are tokens and they don't seem shady. Like, if we go over other aspects of this white paper, it'll talk about like describing your token, how the blockchain is governed, whether it's proof of work, proof of stake, if there's centralized nodes, if there's, you know, nodes that have more responsibility over others, etc., etc. Do they have a software version for you to run a node? All those types of things. Combined, you can combined to add to like the legitimacy of it. So another thing you can do is that Nucleus Vision coin that's still been performing pretty well with everything dipping. That token, you're probably not going to use it to like get the AI service that they offer by having it like record like in real time analyze everyone that's entering and exiting your your market or store, and then seeing where they're going. You probably aren't going to actually use that monthly service unless you run a shop. So that token is more like a security or a stock or something along those lines. So that adds to the difficulty of if you want to invest in one of these tokens and hold it for a while, then you definitely want one that could survive the ultimate regulations and oversight that come with being a like more so security token or a digitized stock or anything like that. Let's see what else is on this. Blockchain governance, I briefly went over that, and the risk factors, yeah. So a lot of the common sense things, but nice to bring it up again. Oh, what's up, Playboy TV? I'll look at the Ethereum shit right after this here. Playboy TV is launching a new payment option that will allow customers to access its exclusive adult content using cryptocurrencies. Shout out to all of the homies trying to hide like buying Playboy TV or whatever on DirecTV. Now they could just use Monero and say they had it. They'll never know where the money came from. According to announcements today, the Adult Content Network said it will roll out a dedicated cryptocurrency wallet by the end of this year. The media firm will initially accept a cryptocurrency dubbed Vice Industry Token, which is being issued through an initial coin offering that ends next week. Vice Industry Token is designed partially for adult content specifically, and it'll track user engagement on adult channels over a blockchain. I would say my porn viewing habits are one of the things that I want very specifically kept off a blockchain. Well, maybe not. Because I guess it's something. I don't know. Now that I think about it, if it is like truly anonymous or whatever, and porn viewing habits are probably less unique than your exact spending habits, so there's more likely to have overlap. You know? Upon second thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong on that. And just, I was picturing like this giant ledger of like everyone's name in every video they've ever watched for how long. Like what their engagement was, what their like web camera showed. Like, I was picturing something awful like that. The initiative marks possibly the first instance of a major television company moving to accept cryptocurrency as a payment tool, even though it's like their own coin. In a way. Rina Patel, Chief Operations Officer, Licensing and Media for Playboy Enterprises, said, as the popularity of alternative payment methods continues to grow around the world, along with the reach Playboy's digital platforms, we felt it was important to give our 100 million monthly consumers increased payment flexibility. As the popularity of alternative payment methods continues to grow around the world, as well as the reach of Playboy's digital platforms. That's what it should have said. We felt it was important to give our 100 million monthly consumers increased payment flexibility. Well, that's thoughtful of them. Alright. Can't we just solve scaling? Can't we just solve privacy? Can't we just say done and get to feature complete? That was the question Bob Summerwell asked the audience at the Ethereum conference on Thursday. The broader talk that called for an end to tribalism in the community supporting the world's second largest blockchain. Community manager at Ethereum and an ambassador for Blockchain Alliance Sweetbridge, Summerwell opened the conference on a note that would reverberate throughout the next 3 days, that while the development of the Ethereum world computer is a technical pursuit, it cannot escape social entanglements. More recently, debates concerning the return of lost funds have demonstrated cracks in the platform's existing governance, which relies on a process borrowed from Bitcoin and internet development, the request for proposal process. Still lacking a forum to resolve debates, development platform GitHub has become somewhat of battleground, with the Ethereum codebase ruffled with political pull requests urging developers to make Ethereum immutable or to increase the transparency of the Ethereum Foundation, the nonprofit that oversees development. We recently had a huge amount of conflict. Greg Colvin, developer of Ethereum's virtual machine, said at the first meeting of a new governance group that convened on Friday. There, Colvin laid out his pitch for the Fellowship of Ethereum Magicians, a council that will aim to succeed in developing a unique governance model for Ethereum. Governance, abstract and applied. In his speech, Zamfir described governance as a coordination problem, one in which arriving at a decision requires a shared knowledge that a set of decision-making processes is the norm. Speaking at the fellowship meeting, Nick Johnson echoed this finding, stating that the decision that ultimately changes a blockchain's code is generally the final step in a long process of technical scrutiny. Having followed the various steps of the EIP process, in which software is proposed, accepted, coded into clients, and finally released, the upgrade is then subject to political analysis. If the community rejects the change, it can always refuse to adopt it, something that Johnson described as extreme and hopefully uncommon, but also a safety valve. Also a safety valve, kind of like Ethereum Classic, which was the hard fork of the old Ethereum. Following a blockchain split of this type, Ethereum developer Jeff Coleman added, "The market decides which version of the software is most valuable." Debate in real life. Going forward, the fellowship at least intends to provide a platform for in-person discussions, with the next panel due to occur in Berlin in July, hosted by the Web3 Foundation. Running through the slides of selfies he's taken alongside some of the platform's more controversial figures, Summer will stress the importance of social processes, stating, "In a quest to build the perfect machine, we forget to be human. If you come up with the decision-making rules by solving a maths problem, then you might have a really elegant rule, but if you can't get people to agree to use it, then I don't really think you've accomplished the goal of governance." Basically, even if you solve the problem that's in the blockchain, but people don't agree or notice with it, then it wouldn't even matter. So whether it's in their blockchain or the smart contracts or the returnment of like all of those things are like problems that, rather than trying to like release it on the inside and do it bit by bit and get a large amount of feedback, the public kind of gets their hands on it early, and you get all this added push and pull from people on what's right, what's wrong, yada yada yada. And that's also what Vitalik was talking about a little bit ago, when he said a big problem that people have with Ethereum is just like a lack of communication and people not understanding that the people making the code themselves are very fluid in their opinions of what does and does not work, and are willing to change it based on, fact and what's been going on and feedback. So that's my cryptocurrency for the day. 18 minutes, getting these faster and faster. Granted, only like by a minute or two at a time. But go ahead and follow me on Twitter at altcoinatheist. Go ahead and like and subscribe to here. And yeah, go ahead and donate any of the 3 cryptocurrencies that you see right over here.